Hello guys, Mr. H once again. This is not technically part 7, this is like part 6.5. This is a little bit in between. What this video is about is the things that we are not going to touch on this year because of the COVID situation that we're in, and the time slot that we have, just we're not going to be able to fit it in, and we just got to be realistic about it. Okay, the first thing is what normally I would do, and the reason I'm telling you guys to take notes, the notes for this year, they're going to help you with the final test. So there is one more test I'm putting together. It is going to be on the engine reconditioning itself. So if you're someone who is just kind of along for the ride and you're not doing anything, you better get yourself together, because there is going to be a test at the end that'll test individually what you guys did and how much you took away from the process. So there will be a test at the end. But typically what I do is I actually have you guys using your notes and your spec packet. I usually have you guys write a 10 to 15 page paper typed. Usually what I do, I usually make you do 2 weeks after the engines are done. 10 to 15 pages of typed information on everything you did in chronological order. That's usually what I do. This semester, since we're in the shop and we don't really have time to do theory, and you guys are swamped with work for 6.5 hours and then have your gen eds, I am foregoing having the paper. So the paper is off the table, but we do still have that final test at the end. A couple other things that you guys are going to be doing in the shop that we might not go over or have time for is some of the valve work, as far as using some of the special tools, certain special tools that we use to measure like the cylinder blocks and things like that, we might not make too much time for, and we might not use a lot of the new components. If some components look good and we can reuse them, we are going to do that. I do have a couple of spare items that we can make do with, but there is a few things that we are not going to do this time around just because of time constraints and because of what you guys are doing with 6 hours, 6.5 hours of being in the shop. So, biggest thing, not going to have the paper. I also want to make you guys aware that there is a test when we are finally done. Everything is back together based on what you guys did for engine reconditioning. It'll probably be a 50 to 60 question test. It'll be online, but it's for the sole purpose that I get to see you individually, what you figured out and what you took away from the process of working in groups. Not so much that, you know, everyone's in a group. I want to see what you got out of it personally. So that's going to be one of the big things right off the bat. I apologize if the table is shaking so much. It looks like I'm having an earthquake, but I can assure you there's no earthquake here. Okay, second of which, what did I want to tell you guys? There was something else I did want to tell you. I can't quite remember what it is. Well, I can tell you this. Take your time. Take your time with getting your specs and measurements. Once again, I cannot emphasize enough how this is not a race. It is not a race who can get all their stuff done the fastest. Opposite of what I want. I could care less about somebody who gets it done in like 20 minutes somehow, in some way. Not what the purpose of the engine's class is. It's to understand all the components and really understand the fine workings of a 4-stroke motor. So another thing that you guys have to do yet on the bottom end, let's say you get all the work with the pistons and reconditioning done on that bottom end, you also have a mini project that you need to do with taking apart the oil pump and reconditioning the oil pump. So that's a whole other animal all on its own. And I will have sort of a mini tutorial on that as a demo once everyone gets to that point. Won't necessarily make a video because I am not going to show you how to do it, but I will help you out. So when it comes to those things, the cylinder head, the inline bore, we're going to forego that. We're not going to worry about that. As far as measuring for straightness with a straight edge inside the bore for the camshaft and for the crankshaft itself, I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too focused on that. So that one, that's something you can skip as well. Let me see, is there anything else? If you couldn't tell, I kind of put this video together on the fly just because I have 1 or 2 things in mind. I think that's just about it. Like I said, this is like not part 7, because obviously I'm just sitting here doing nothing. But it's like 6.5, just reminding you guys what's coming up, why you're doing it, and what steps you might not do just because of this is not normally how I would run the class. Other than that, I'll see you guys in class. Like and subscribe as usual, and I'll see you guys in part 7.